There's a specific type of fear that has no name. It's not the fear of spiders or heights or the dark. It's the fear of the familiar becoming alien. It's the chilling sensation of looking at the face of the person you love more than anyone in the world and seeing, for a fleeting second, a complete stranger. A stranger who is watching you, studying you. For the last year of what I thought was our 5-year marriage, I have lived with that fear as my constant companion. My husband, Tom, is the kindest, most gentle man I have ever known, and I am utterly convinced he is trying to destroy me, not by hurting my body, but by methodically, lovingly dismantling my soul. Before the quiet horror began, our life was a symphony of comfortable predictability. Tom's love was my foundation. It was in the way he'd leave a cup of coffee on my nightstand every morning, exactly how I liked it. It was in the easy silence we could share, reading in the same room for hours without needing to speak. It was in the calloused warmth of his hand finding mine in the dark of a movie theater. He was a structural engineer. He built bridges for a living. And I felt he had built an unshakable bridge between the two of us, a structure of trust so absolute it was my reality. The first crack in that reality was almost imperceptible. A conversation so minor, it felt insane to even register it. I came downstairs one morning wearing a new sweater, a deep cobalt blue. He looked at me, and his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. "That's a lovely color," he said, his voice strangely flat. "I've just always known your favorite color to be lavender." I laughed. "I can have more than one favorite color, Tom." But he didn't laugh back. He just watched me with an expression I couldn't decipher, a mixture of profound sadness and disappointment. I felt a bizarre, hot flash of shame, as if I'd done something wrong. I went upstairs and changed.
That was the first domino. After that, they began to fall in slow, terrifying succession. The sticky notes appeared, bright yellow squares of paper that felt like tiny monuments to my inadequacy. "Your sister's birthday is next Tuesday. Remember to call. You always forget to take your vitamins. The password for your laptop is the name of your childhood dog, Scout." I knew these things, mostly, but the notes weren't helpful reminders. They were corrections. They were a constant, silent declaration that the person I was, in that moment, was faulty, defective. Then his obsession with the past intensified. He unearthed old photo albums, home videos, boxes of mementos. Our evenings became strange, curated performances of our own history. He would sit beside me, an old photograph in hand, and his voice would become that of a gentle interrogator. "Look at this one, Chloe, our first anniversary. Remember what you said to me when I gave you that locket?" He'd stare at me, his eyes wide with a desperate, pleading hope, waiting for me to recite a line from a script I didn't know I was supposed to have memorized. Every time I'd falter, every time I'd say, "I'm sorry, Tom, it's a bit fuzzy," I would watch the light in his eyes dim. I wasn't just his wife, I was his failing student. The worst part was the memory box, a heavy cedar chest in his study. It was his sanctuary and my personal hell. I watched him through a crack in the door one night. He wasn't looking at photos. He was holding an old, dried corsage to his nose, his eyes closed, as if trying to inhale a memory. He picked up a seashell from a trip we'd taken and rubbed his thumb over its smooth surface. He was communing with a ghost. The ghost of the real Chloe, a vibrant, perfect woman who remembered everything, who loved lavender sweaters, who was in every conceivable way better than me. My paranoia began to weave a narrative, a dark and intricate tapestry of what he was doing. He wasn't just grieving the past, he was actively trying to overwrite my present. I started to see his actions as a form of psychological warfare. I would deliberately defy the notes. I bought the wrong coffee. I played music he claimed I hated. Each time the reaction was the same, not anger, but a quiet, soul-crushing disappointment. He was trying to condition me to sand down my current personality until I fit the smooth, familiar contours of the woman he had lost. It escalated. We had friends over for dinner. I was telling a story and I mixed up a detail, the year we went to Italy. Tom corrected me, gently, with a small, apologetic smile to our guests. "You know, Chloe," he said, his hand resting on my arm, "her memory's like a sieve sometimes." The table laughed politely, but I felt like he had just slapped me. He was publicly declaring me as broken. He was isolating me, turning my own mind into an unreliable narrator in the story of my life. I began to question everything. Was I going crazy? Was this some kind of early onset dementia? Or was he the one who was sick, caught in a delusional grief, unable to accept that people change? I had to know. I had to find proof that I wasn't the one who was broken. The proof I found shattered me. It was in his desk, tucked away in a folder labeled personal. It was a laminated, official-looking document from a renowned neurological institute dated 2 years ago. It was a full patient workup. My name, my photo, my vital statistics, and a diagnosis section that contained a string of terrifying clinical terms. I scanned through them, my vision blurring, until I landed on a phrase that seemed to suck all the air out of the room. Profound global amnesia, secondary to severe traumatic brain injury. This was it, the centerpiece of his gaslighting. A forged, terrifyingly convincing document he could use to prove I was mentally incompetent. It wasn't just about forcing me to be someone I wasn't. It was about control. Maybe it was about money. Maybe he just wanted to own me, a living doll he could program with memories of his choosing. The man I loved was a monster of a kind I couldn't have imagined. That night, I didn't wait for him to start one of his gentle interrogations. I was a cornered animal. I stood in the center of the living room, the document on the coffee table, the memory box dragged from the study and thrown open on the floor, its contents spilling out like the guts of our dead marriage. When he walked in, he stopped, his face a mask of confusion. "What is this?" I finally screamed, the sound tearing from my throat. "What is all of this? Your museum of a dead woman? Your proof that I'm broken?" I kicked at a photo album. "This isn't love, Tom. This is a sickness. You are obsessed with a ghost and you are trying to kill me to make room for her. I'm a person. I am right here. Why can't you see me?" He stared at the spilled contents of the box, at the medical document, and then at my face, twisted with a year's worth of fear and rage. And the carefully constructed dam of his composure didn't just break, it was obliterated. A sound of pure, animalistic agony escaped his lips, and he fell to his knees. He crawled towards the medical file, his hands shaking. He looked up at me, his face a ruin of tears and despair. "No, Chloe, no, you don't understand. I'm not trying to erase you. God, no. I'm trying to hold on to you."
He stumbled to his laptop and clicked open a file. He turned the screen towards me. The video was from a hospital room. The date stamp confirmed it was from 2 years ago. The woman in the bed was me, but not me. Her head was partially shaved, a thick scar arcing over her temple. Her eyes were vacant, empty. A doctor off screen was holding up a photo of our wedding day. "Chloe," the doctor's gentle voice said, "can you tell me who the man in this picture is?" I watched myself in the video. I watched as I stared at the picture of Tom, my husband, the love of my life, with the polite disinterest of a stranger. I watched myself shake my head, and then I heard myself speak, my voice a flat, hollow monotone. "He seems nice. Am I supposed to know him?" The reality that crashed down on me was not a wave. It was a collapsing universe. 2 years ago, returning from our 3rd anniversary celebration, a patch of black ice, a spinning car, the impact. Tom with a broken arm and 3 fractured ribs. Me with a severe traumatic brain injury that put me in a coma for a month. When I woke up, I was a blank slate. I had lost nearly 15 years of my life. My childhood was there, but my college years, my career, meeting Tom, falling in love, our marriage, all of it was gone. And worse, the part of my brain that converts short-term experience into long-term memory was critically damaged. The last year wasn't a year of gaslighting. It was a year of painstaking, heartbreaking rehabilitation that I have no memory of living through.
Every single one of Tom's crimes was an act of desperate, therapeutic love. The photos, the notes, the stories, they were all prescribed by an army of neurologists and therapists. They were memory anchors, tools to help me tether myself to a life that my own brain refused to hold on to. The memory box was a sensory toolkit, a way for me to touch, smell, and feel a past that was intellectually gone. His quiet disappointment wasn't anger at me. It was the crushing, daily grief of a man fighting a battle he could never truly win. He wasn't trying to make me into a ghost. He was trying, with every fiber of his being, to stop me from becoming one. I sank to the floor amidst the wreckage of what I thought was my reality. I picked up a photo of us, smiling on a beach. He was my husband. This was my life. And I was a stranger to it all. He wasn't my jailer. He was my anchor, my memory keeper, the only person standing between me and an endless, empty void. He came over and knelt in front of me, his tears mixing with mine. He didn't say, "I told you so." He just took my hand. "Hi," he whispered, his voice thick with a love so profound it felt like the only real thing in the universe. "I'm Tom, and it's so nice to meet you again." We still live in this house. The memory box is back in the study, but now it's open. And at the end of every day, we sit together and we write in a journal. He tells me about our day, and I write it down so that the woman who wakes up tomorrow will have a chance to know the woman I was today. It is not a fairy tale. It is a slow, painful, beautiful reconstruction. And it is our love story.